Hello there and welcome. This is a follow-up video regarding the allegations against the player Seeking. The video came out 2 days ago. It was with a joint announcement on Discord. I myself am just representing a process. A lot of community members came together with allegations and they discussed them. They think that Seeking was map hacking, and I'm giving the overall community, or the competitive part of the community, the information. So there's no cross wires. It's a transparent process, and as the Master League organizer and founder, it's going to be my job to figure out what we do with regards to the Master League. But that's as far as this goes. That's all I can do. I do not speak for Relic Entertainment, the developer, and to be honest, I'm in a position where I have to take it upon myself because there's a tournament this weekend and just have to sort this out basically. Hopefully after today there's going to be a break. Seeking's going to be given the chance to get as much evidence as he can together to prove that he wasn't hacking, and I am going to present a bit more evidence against him today. I have spoken to Seeking today. And part of that was to address issues with this process. We never actually spoke to him originally before this went live. A part of that was because I was a bit worried about the evidence was still being found. So I wanted to see as much evidence gathered as possible. So if we alerted Seeking, that might not happen. And also there's a tournament on Saturday. So the timelines were squished, but I think it would have been polite to have told him first. So fair enough. A couple of the people that gave an opinion weren't fully alerted to the fact that it might be on a public facing document, so apologies to them. But other than that, I can't really apologise for much else. This is an amateur hobbyist community and we're just trying our best to uphold the integrity of the game, and that's all we're doing. So yeah, just take that in mind. Now let's talk about Seeking's defense. I did say this is only a suspension, and before we talk about Seeking, the player Kimbo can play this weekend in the tournament. He's been nothing but mature and cooperative so far. So yeah, Kimbo can play, there's no problems with that, but Seeking will remain suspended whilst this is ongoing. And Seeking is currently preparing a document with loads of explanations for the clips. He's also already done a Twitch stream where he explains his side. So yeah, take that as you will. I personally thought that a lot of the explanations were kind of weren't convincing. Some were convincing, and a lot was, obviously this guy's stressed. Even if he's guilty or if he's innocent, he's going to be stressed, and I think it's a little bit harsh to judge him without giving him time to collect himself and to prepare a proper response. So that's what I've communicated to him. So take your time. Whatever you give or whatever you present, I will give equal opportunity to in the public eye, and I don't want this to become a witch hunt. And thank you to everybody in the community thus far that has prevented it from being so. There's been a lot of really cool guys that have just tried to take a step back and take all the evidence into account and really think about it. And yes, I still think the majority of people are saying that this is either extremely fishy or downright cheating. There's a vocal minority as well that have every right to argue against that, and I applaud them for doing so if everybody's being respectful and listening and looking at all the evidence. So thanks to the community thus far. Now on to Deadbolt. Now Deadbolt is Seeking's uncle, and this is today's big piece of evidence. We're going to be looking into the Deadbolt account and looking at other clips generated via that account. Now it's important that you know the difference here. Deadbolt is he's an older guy, he's Seeking's uncle. And from all accounts, and I've actually spoken to Seeking today, there'll be a link to the conversation in the description below, but on all accounts, Deadbolt has aspirations to be seen to be a good player, but he's not necessarily like the world's best player. He's kind of just above average-ish kind of thing, but he really likes the idea of having a high-level ladder ranks. That's the profile we have on him by everybody's testament. Now let's have a look at his Steam profile, shall we? And let's have a look at who this guy is. So he's from Germany. He's top 1 in the world Brits, top 40 in the world OKW, and he's only had like 70 games, maybe 26 games. His Wehrmacht rank, which he hasn't played for over a month now, was formerly top 4. Now this was partly due to already proven boosting. Seeking was playing on his uncle's account on his PC in his house, boosting the account by playing on it and winning games right before a tournament was due to start. It was Angry Dutchman's Vanilla Flash tournament in early February, and that was boosting. And Seeking and Deadbolt received a 1 tournament ban because Deadbolt was going to play in that event. So we already have that proven, and Seeking admitted to that, to his credit. So that's the history of that situation. But this account's still active. It's recently attained #1 Brits. Let's have a look at the Steam profile. This Deadbolt account is friends with this one. And this one has a public friends history with Jackson. Now, Jackson is also Deadbolt. As you can see, there are many Deadbolts. There's 1, 2, 3. There's the TR Deadbolt primary account, but there's also Winter. Now, interesting thing about 3 of these accounts is they have VAC bans on them, as you can see here. They are in the past, but they are very legitimate VAC bans. Now, you only get a VAC ban if the developer bans you, or it's like a hardcore game ban, basically, for cheating. So there's 1, 2, 3 VAC bans against Deadbolt accounts. Now, you can see in the history as well, they're all connected. The names are all connected. He's played as multiple names here. So it is definitely him. Now, bringing you onto the most recent Deadbolt account, Satup. Now, we have this confirmed as being Deadbolt by the person that plays with him. The person that plays with him is Flap. Now, the way we know this is confirmed is Kimbo is Flap's brother. And we asked Kimbo, do you know who Deadbolt is? He said, I'll ask Flap because Flap plays with it. Sorry, do you know who Satup is? Is it Deadbolt? And Kimbo said, I think it is. I'll ask Flap to make sure. And Flap confirmed that it was. We have that on record. Kimbo did not know about the map hacking accusations against Satup account at this point in time. He was just confirming who the Smurf was under suspicion himself. So we have that confirmed, that this account here sat up with a German flag now, by the way. Previously, under a VPN, this had a Denmark flag. I highly doubt this player's moved from Denmark to Germany during coronavirus, that's for certain. It does now have a German flag, and the only 2 versus 2 partner ever is Flap. Now, why is that important? Well, Flap primarily plays with Deadbolt or Deadbolt Smurfs, as you can see there. That is the 2 versus 2 situation. Kimbo's brother, both of them are just kind of fairly above average players, by the way. It's not like they're, well, Flap's got pretty decent 2 versus 2 ranks for certain, but they play together regularly. Now, why do I bring the Satup account up? Because it's the most flagrant show of map hacking you're ever going to see. It does not get more obvious than this, quite frankly. This is as obvious as it gets. So let's watch a little bit of this. Nothing too scary so far. This could just be movement command. No. Just keep watching. So he's up against an OKW player. You might want to know where the OKW's Stern Pioneers are in the early game, perhaps. Why not go and see? Have a little look. Have a little look where the Wehrmacht's MG could be, perhaps. Have a little look, yes. This particular replay file is so flagrant that whoever was the player, and I think most people are saying it's Deadbolt, Kimbo, and even Seeking says it's probably Deadbolt. On the interview you'll hear later today. So, yeah, there's flagrant map hacking constantly. It's just obscene. And this was originally Aerofield's comments. It's just constantly, you can pick many a moment, especially with the sniper play. In fact, somebody earlier hesitated to guess that it was the most obvious kind of map hacking they'd seen in coming here for a while. And we're not talking about that kind of 4v4 map hacking where they just literally, this is like somebody that kind of cares but mostly doesn't care. They just want to figure out where the enemy is and act based on it. Sniper out of cover kind of thing constantly. So just go check that out yourself. Now then, this back to Deadbolt and Satup. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see this. But CPM, big thanks to Inverse, by the way, for building this generator. It's fantastic. But this shows you the clicks per minute. And this is a famous RTS metric. Players have a signature in the game. They can't help it because their actions are what make them a good player or an average player. This is the kind of clicks per minute of an average player. You can see that Satup is up to 68 here. The other opponents are damn equal, which is good going. You've got Deadbolt and Stern Panther here. Average. Slightly above average here. And then you have Seeking. Now, Seeking is a badass. He gets up to 110 and 120 regularly. It's because he doesn't use tap map, you see. He's constantly using WASD as his arrow keys with a script to change the bindings. And he just flies around the map. Like, he's just so active all of the time. So you can see, there's another one. This is from a tournament. Like, Nagano is very chill by comparison, and Loveness famously is quite chill. Both TAC map players, but these guys that don't use tap map, they have to make up for it with insane APM. You can tell who's who, and you can tell Deadbolt when he's genuinely Deadbolt, and Seeking when he's genuinely Seeking a mile away. Isildur, by the way, is a tap map player that also has very high CPM. That might be why he's #1 in the world right now. Just hesitating a guess there, amongst many other things. But just scrolling up here because we're all getting onto what I'm going to be talking about. This replay here, where Deadbolt had an APM or a CPM of 110 all of a sudden. Now, this is on Eindhoven County, or is it Country versus Legio X Roma and Artevik. Now let's have a look at some of these plays. And this is new proof that we're levying, and yes, it is new because we're declaring the link between, we've already established the link between Deadbolt and Seeking. Not only the family, but Seeking has been playing on the Deadbolt account. But now these clips, which some people are saying is definitely Deadbolt as a defense to Seeking, we're saying that it's not, and we think that they should be included in people's understanding as well. And I would say so too, because it does seem to be very high level play, and I think it does show that possibly, I mean, just include it in your estimations is all I'll say. Let's have a look, shall we? AT guns are there. Well, I'll try and not comment, to be honest. I'll let you form your own opinion. There's, I'll just, in case you're a super casual player, those AT guns he could only see the KV-8 by right. The T-70 was being repaired, and he chose to move the AT guns, not attack move, just move them into a better position and ignore the most obvious target. I think actually there was another one here. Here we go. Another example of chasing the AT guns. We saw a clip of that the other day when it was Deadbolt playing. So we've already seen one Deadbolt clip, but these are more Deadbolt clips. We have Seeking. I think I've got it on file somewhere. Hang on a second. Let me just show my ugly face as well. Hang on a second. Seeking. Yeah,
let's do this clip first, and then.
So we do have as well Seeking. So this is another AT gun chase.
Look in the chat. So my blob is moving right here. Let's see this one. All right. Before we watch this, you guys don't see the context again. You don't see here what happened. All right. So I'm flanking with my.
So I'm flanking. That's all I'm bringing you. You've already seen this clip, and I'll direct you to this VOD, but this is Seeking explaining why he chased the AT guns all the way into the side of the map and he ignored everything else, despite not having vision on them. We'll play it, because I think it's rude if I don't show you his explanation. I think he starts around here.
Here. What happened before? The map pack in this game, is it overlay? I don't know. Probably you don't have fucking war. Like Call 1, there's no fucking war, probably. I think this top makes no sense for an adult guy. Alright, so I'm flanking with my blob. I'm making a pocket. You guys see the AT gun is reversing. I saw that AT gun before, like not like exact that time. Like you guys don't see what happened before. So he pushed me out of the field. So I was. Let's do this clip first, and then we're gonna look in the chat. So my blob is moving, right?
Sorry guys, I actually only clipped the bit where he says it, but he explains it as though he's forming a pocket and he knew the AT guns would be there somewhere, and we saw that clip from the other day. That's the kind of explanations he was giving. Let's watch some more of these videos, the new ones from a replay where we're pretty damn certain it is Sea King playing, shall we? There's that one. They're on a playlist that are auto playing. Okay, I'm not convinced by that. I'm not sure what that's showing, to be honest. That's the same clip again. What's this one? Just says facepalm in the title. Can't be good. Oh, I can see where this is going. Oh, God. And then this one says WTF. Oh, this is playing as Sea King now. This is not the previous game. I haven't seen this one before. Yeah, I'm not convinced by that. You'd have to look into the Fog of War anyway. I think the first 5 were the ones I was meant to show. The others are just part of some playlist I was looking at. Anyway, next on the talk that I was going to do is a talk about Fog of War replays versus live. Now, I have, with Stormjaeger, big credit to him. I think he's been really constructive so far as well. One of the many community members that have been very constructive. I've done a quick game with him where we basically showed both. So I'm just going to get both of these up right now for you. Hang on a second. So that one is AE game perspective. This one will be... Here it is. Replay perspective, that's the job. So what you want to do here, let's go over to my monitor, is you've got both game versions of the game open here. So I'll just get to it, shall I? And I'm going to upload these both separately to YouTube, but I invite you to do the same. And this proves that the Fog of War is identical in both scenarios. So I'm just going to pause this one momentarily. There you go. That should be roughly in line now. Maybe not quite. Just need to pause this until they're there. There you go. You should see that the Fog of War on the right, slightly before the one on the left, but it should be identical in every single envelopment. So you'll see the one on the right, or the left slightly earlier, isn't it? But this is from both. This is my perspective live versus Stormjaeger, and then the replay Stormjaeger saved. Again, and it just shows you the methodology that the replay file. It's the one on the right slightly earlier, isn't it? Yeah, and then the one on the left comes after. But just look at that. See the envelopment. See the Fog of War range. And I have established that sometimes it falls out of sync for about half a second from time. That's my dog barking from the past. I'll mute that. But as you can see, I mean, the actual edge of the circles and all of the actions are bang on. It's not a complete replica, and I'll tell you why. It's because it's a list of commands that are being retold. So it says to the infantry to go to the exact same place you did when you actually did it in the real game. But it's all replicated. See that even little patterns of Fog of War around objects, and it's all just a one-for-one recreation every time. So I can agree that if it's a fringe case and it's like a one frame difference, yeah, maybe you can cast some doubt on it. But as it's a tool, as long as the game versions are the same, and as long as all the parameters you can find are the same, as much as possible at least, you've got a pretty damn good tool for checking whether a player is looking in the Fog of War. I mean, this is me playing, and I'm no great player, but there's no reason at this point in time maybe to listen for a Kubelwagen. If I heard one, I'd go listening for it. Looking for XP kickers sometimes for buildings, etc. But no, there's that. I just wanted to get that out of the way, and I will upload that separately. Apologies for the amateur transition to doing it. I forgot I was going to do it, to be honest. It's been a long work day, and I'm just trying to catch up on stuff. So that's your update. Yeah, the process from here on out will be next week. We're gonna have a break, and then next week we'll figure out what we're gonna do with this. I want to get some really well trusted community members to have one final vote on it, Master League related members at least, and then we'll establish whether we're comfortable with Seeking playing from this point onwards. Seeking's defense will be given ample light of day. We're gonna give it just as much publicity as we did with all this stuff. Deadbolt, I think even Seeking's throwing him under the bus, jokingly, but no, but I don't think. I think he's a map hacker, to be honest. I think everything points towards that. I'm not going to be unbiased about it. I think it's pretty obvious. And then I've covered Fog of War replays and live, and I've shown you a few more clips that I didn't show you before because the full Deadbolt link was not established, and I wanted to make sure myself that that you guys would appreciate that. So there's the video, and I'm going to upload it now. Hopefully we can now just all enjoy this tournament this weekend, give Seeking the space and breathing room he needs to form a proper defense, and then as unbiasedly as possible and with a lot of cynicism, we're going to give it a good degree of, it has to be, we're definitely certain there's something fishy going on here. We don't want this player playing. That's the only situation it would be that he wouldn't play in the future. We're going to give ourselves some breathing space now, though. We're going to give Seeking, importantly, some breathing space, and we'll address this next week. Thank you as a community, and sorry this was done so publicly, etc. Hopefully you understand, and cheers. Have a good weekend.